D.Va, also known as Hana Song. D.Va is a former professional gamer, icon, mechanic, and movie star. She now uses her skills to pilot a mech in defense of her homeland of South Korea. D.Va grew up playing games with her father, who introduced her to StarCraft, and later became a world champion at the game Mecha Guardian V. She joined the military Mecha unit to fight against the Omnics in the war. Weirdly, their main recruiting method was to go after Korea's top pro gamers. She streamed herself in combat to her adoring fans, becoming a global icon, and later even starring in the movie Hero of My Storm. Despite her success, D.Va was burdened by the emotional cost of defending her homeland, as well as being a famous star. Needing a change, D.Va was recruited into Overwatch, bringing her epic gaming skills and powerful mech to the cause. D.Va plays to win and does not show her opponents any mercy, because that's a different character. I hope you guys enjoyed the lore segment of this video. I kind of have a funny tidbit to tell you. I've been invited out to Gamescom twice by Blizzard to show off Heroes of the Storm stuff, but all of their games are usually in the same hall, pretty tightly compacted together. One year I showed off the release of Kel'Thuzad, and the other it was the release of Mephisto, and I'm not sure which year this was. They kind of blended together in my old age, but they showed off that D.Va cinematic that we just saw. And when you're working Gamescom, it's very long hours. You're there before the show starts, you leave after the show is over. And every 10 minutes, I think, it felt like every 10 minutes, they would show that D.Va cinematic. And I mean, the first time, it was just so good. It was so stunningly gorgeous. And the second time, I like it. By about the 4,000th time I heard that cinematic, I could literally close my eyes and tell you the exact frame of the trailer that we were on. When I went to sleep, I would see it in my dreams. I didn't speak any German, but I could say every single word of that cinematic in German. Just kind of weird. Stuff you don't think about when you get invited out to cons. All right. Let's jump into D.Va's abilities, and then we'll have a show match after. All right, jumping into try mode on our first tank character. Tank is actually my favorite role in Overwatch and in most MOBAs, so it's finally happening. We're finally here. Let's start with our primary weapon. It has a fall-off range between 10 and 20 meters. So if you want to do the most damage, you need to be inside this line. As we shoot, we're actually going to fire off 11 pellets every time we pull the trigger. These pellets are going to deal between 0.6 damage and 2 damage per hit. But because you're firing so many, it's actually pretty respectable. As you can see from those hit markers, we do get headshot damage as well. But one negative thing is while we are shooting, we do get a negative 40% to our movement speed. And as you can see back here at the edge of our fall off damage, it really is quite a lot less. Now, part of that is because the damage gets lessened, but the other part of that is our gun just gets way more inaccurate the further we are away from targets. I mean, look at that spread over there on that wall. We have a fire rate of 6.667 per second. Couldn't be demonic. This isn't Diablo after all. All that really means is if you can get close to your target and hold the trigger down, you're going to be doing a lot of damage. But we can layer even more damage on top of that. Micro missiles is our E ability, and all this does is fire rockets down range. I believe we shoot 18 rockets out at a time, and you can see even with direct hits, that's not enough to kill the lowest health character in the game. If we get direct hits, it's going to equal 126 damage. But the joy of this is you can fire your rockets and shoot your primary gun at the same time. And especially if you're close to targets, that damage can start to add up rapidly. If you do miss, there is a small splash area. The splash deals 1 to 4 damage per missile. The direct hits deal 7 damage per missile. So there is quite a lot of fall off if you're not getting those direct hits. You're firing 11 missiles per second. So to get rid of your whole barrage, it's just under 2 seconds. And there is a 1.5 meter radius when you shoot these things off. Not the most forgiving thing I've ever seen. Make sure you're trying to get direct hits whenever possible. Because we can use rockets and our primary fire at the same time, it does actually add up to quite a lot of burst damage. But say a target's really far away. That doesn't matter. Just go ahead and boost yourself in with your shift ability to get in closer, to sneak up on unsuspecting victims and rip them apart. Our boosters do a little bit of damage, and I mean a very little bit of damage. It's 15. That's less than half of a melee swing against a target. But you do get a pretty healthy knockback, allowing you to displace people. If someone's sitting up on the high ground and you want them off of that high ground, that can be pretty easy to do. Or if you see an isolated target, gap closing onto them very quickly can be super effective. You can go about 24 meters with this boost. I think it's a little bit less. And the duration is 2 seconds at full charge. However, you can cancel this early. And this is one of the things I really needed to start mastering when I picked up D.Va. I would often find myself trying to DPS a target and then zooming all around like that, and it wasn't pretty. So make sure you show some restraint. Boost in, get in position, and then let the rockets fly. Our right-click ability is Defense Matrix. This sends out a projection forward up to 10 meters that will gobble up any projectile that enters that radius. It can be a little deceptive on what your actual range is. I have a really hard time figuring out when I first started, but 10 meters is what you're looking at. Now that will absorb anything from bullets all the way to tracer pulse bombs, May ultimate freezes. You can totally remove those as long as you catch them in mid-air. This can provide a lot of defense for your team, but don't feel like you have to hold it down for the full duration. You can actually just do a quick, hey, I see this guy shooting, let me eat some of those before I go in and deal big damage to a target. Especially if you could catch an enemy while, if you absorb their shots and then go in while they're reloading, that is a huge advantage. Now, if you just tap the button, you're going to be looking at a 1 second cooldown before you can Defense Matrix again. If you drain the entire charge, you're looking at a 6 second cooldown before you are fully back up to maximum energy. So if I had to give some advice for this, I would say use it often, but use it in bursts to really soak up incoming projectiles. Don't just sit here and try to bait something to be thrown at you. Just like our rockets, we can use Defense Matrix as we are boosting ourselves forward, and you can use your rockets while Defense Matrix is up. Now, keep in mind, you cannot primary fire, but I'm glad D.Va has at least something in her arsenal that she can fire off while still being in a defensive mode. Our ultimate ability is called Self-Destruct. This allows D.Va to leave her mech and detonate after a 3-second fuse. This Self-Destruct will deal damage to anything within 20 meters that is within line of sight. If the enemy team has a Sigma or Reinhardt or a barrier that they can hold up right here, it would protect everything behind them as well. Something to consider. So don't be surprised if when you drop your Self-Destruct, the enemy team runs for the nearest cover immediately. If memory serves, when Overwatch 1 launched, or maybe it was when I was doing some playtesting for it, the nuke would actually kill D.Va. I'm glad that's no longer the case. You can use your boosters to help get the Self-Destruct into position. For instance, if I wanted to land over there, I can look up about 45 degrees, boost forward, and then hit the detonation, and that will land right on target to deal damage to those enemies. You could, of course, just press Q and have it detonate where you're standing as well. I hope that was obvious. If I wanted to travel a little bit forward, I can look down, booster, and then Q, and that will place it just a few feet in front of me for hopefully the same result. So let's say I'm on a control point map. There's enemies all around me, but we need to get a good nuke off here to help secure it. Well, one thing we could do is boost straight up, just about before the thruster's in, hit Self-Destruct, and our bomb will land on on the ground right as the self-destruct goes off, dealing damage to every enemy in the area. It is very possible to just fire your self-destruct off over obstacles and have them land on top of an enemy team as well. There are plenty of maps where you can totally go over buildings and catch enemies by surprise. And once you know those angles, it becomes very, very fun. One thing to mention as well, you'll notice that when I use self-destruct, I get out of the mech and we have a brand new weapon here. I'll talk about this weapon in just a moment. What I wanted to really bring your attention to is the fact that I can call my mech back immediately after self-destruct. And something new with Overwatch 2 is that mech does damage if you call it in on top of a target. 250 damage, I believe. I've been one-shot by that thing and it totally caught me off guard. I didn't even know that was a possibility. If you get enough damage on you to kill your mech, which is going to take forever with these robots. Come on, you almost got it. One more volley. So we're about to be ejected from our mech. But notice that we cannot instantly summon our mech back again. We have to rebuild our ultimate charge in order to get it back. You are by far the most vulnerable on D.Va when you lose your mech, especially if you're deep behind enemy lines. And keep in mind, when you're in the mech, half of your HP is armor, so you're taking reduced damage for a good portion of your 650 HP. Okay, watch as we're about to take enough damage to kick us out of the mech, but I have my self-destruct ready. We actually get ejected from the mech while that text is on screen. We become invulnerable to damage, but we can also fire that self-destruct off in that small window. And it's very useful. It allows you to get back into the mech super quickly after. If you don't have your self-destruct, you still get that invulnerability window, but then again, you have to build that charge up. Well, since we're out of the mech, I guess we'll talk about her gun now, and I believe this will cover all of the basics. So a lot of people call D.Va Baby D.Va when she's out of the mech. If you ever hear that and wonder what they're talking about, that's all that it means. As you can see, I only have 150 HP right now. That is the same as our dear friend Tracer over here. Our light gun deals 14 damage a shot, and we're able to fire 7 rounds per second, holding 20 bullets in our magazine. Now, these do have a pretty long travel time, as you can see, so if targets are moving around, it can actually be very difficult to land those hits. We deal bonus headshot damage, but because your perspective is so low, like, I'm hitting Tracer's gun here, so it may be a little problematic to actually deal that headshot damage. If you're ever caught without your mech behind enemy lines, it is likely a death sentence. But calling your mech back in only requires 280 ultimate cost, which is like next to nothing. So as long as you land a few shots, you should be back in action pretty soon. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we find ourselves defending on Rialto in today's match. The friendly team as we get things underway is D.Va, Sojourn, Hanzo, Moira, and Mercy. This is a payload map through and through. The enemy team's going to have a lot of pushing to do if they want to make progress. But there are some pretty good open areas for us to drop nukes here with our self-destruct as well. Most teams usually just hold this first corner. We should also be very aware that Roadhog is very capable of pulling us off to our death on either of those bridges on the side. And in fact, Roadhog is one of the better counters to D.Va, in my opinion. That's one of the characters I've been struggling with the most, so I wouldn't be too surprised if we see one coming out of the gate. But let's see how things start off. Enemy D.Va is going to be their tank. We're going to use our defensive matrix just to absorb a little bit of this incoming damage. I want to dive in and hit these guys hard, but I'm not seeing any targets too isolated except for someone on the high ground right over here. It looks like they have already moved though. All right, hitting the enemy team's backline as best as I can, pulling them off the point at the same time, and then we'll just return to our team with another quick boost. That got them off of their positioning, and rockets into the back of D.Va cannot be blocked by her defense matrix. So we're going to close the gap and try to keep the pressure up. Rockets coming off cooldown here, but as my armor falls, my health falls rapidly as well, and we're just going to fall back and thank our healers for doing a great job. We're at 60% ult charge so far. Decent hits to the enemy team's D.Va. I want to stress that I shouldn't be focusing their tank. I want to be trying to get isolated targets whenever possible. But because they're all grouped up, that's what I got. Enemy bro shield already being used. The enemy team might have a nuke here, but I'm going to just... Oh, did I get it? There's my self-destruct. We actually take down the enemy team's mech with that, and we're going to boost in and finish off baby D.Va as the enemy team is forced to fall back. Cassidy taking a buttload of damage from just our left clicks, and he is taken down as well. Let's fall back. 3 minutes 28 seconds now left in this match, and the payload has held strong at this first corner. Someone's behind this box. D.Va is back, so most of those rockets were absorbed. We want to save our defense matrix for the same thing. That nuke, not the best. We could just line of sight that. That does not pick up any kills for the friendly team, and we actually take her down before she's able to remech. But unfortunately, a good boop from this Lucio takes me down into the water, and I was not able to recover. So we traded tanks there. Hopefully our team can continue to hold, and of course, because we have these boosters, we can be back to the objective in a very, very short time. D.Va has beaten us, though. Of course, her spawn is closer. As she's diving forward, we're going to try to pressure Mercy and Lucio back. There's also a high noon being fired off somewhere that does connect, and a couple members of the friendly team are down right now, so we're just going to continue to fall back in defensive matrix to protect our sojourn here if we can, as much as we can. D.Va does meet us on that corner, absorbing all of my rockets, but good damage to Lucio as he rounds the corner. That sticky grenade's gonna chunk me really hard, and I'm trying to fall back for some healing here. We can give our Mercy some extra cover as she's falling back as well, but I'm feeling like I'm pushed up pretty far here. We don't have all of our damage dealers back here just yet, so they are going to get the first objective. Bob being used. We can absorb some of his damage as well, but it looks like he's only focusing me, so we're not going to waste any more resources on that. The next place we want to hold is this corner to the best of our ability. The enemy team pushing in hard into this building. Let's give him a gift. We'll put the nuke right by the payload and see if it connects. It indeed does as we take down the enemy team's Mercy. Now we're just going to pressure the D.Va with left clicks and melee to get her out of that mech, but unfortunately we lose ours pretty soon after. Playing this close to a Cassidy can be a death sentence, but hopefully, yes, our team is playing aggressively. They are pushing up. There is a sniper on the high ground. I think I saw something up there. Now that I'm looking a little more closely, I don't actually see it. And at this range, you can really start to tell just how much of a travel time our bullets have. I desperately need to get back into my mech, but landing shots here is proving very difficult. We can just line of sight this with the payload. Perfect. And as we get back in, I tried to drop the mech on him, but it didn't work. Who got me? Was that all Lucio damage?
Let's break it.
There's the bro shield, so I wouldn't have killed him regardless. I didn't see the bro shield happening. Damn good shots. Okay, back to the front line we go. We've done 4,241 damage so far. I'm pretty happy with that. Mercy is at our back as well, and I'm gonna try to be aggressive and retake this corner if we can. Defense matrix to create an opening. We also have a Moira ult coming in behind us, so we're gonna play very aggressively. Get as many shots on this Lucio as I can. Cassidy super low in the corner. As we round the corner, the D.Va once again nullifies all of our rockets with her defense matrix. She is kicked out of her mech and immediately melted by the friendly team. We have a pocket Mercy right now. I am very pleased. Lucio goes down, and then we're gonna close the gap onto the enemy team's Mercy and Cassidy, who has been forced off of the high ground. One remaining combatant for the enemy team. Oh, never mind. Wow, you came back quick. You came back quick. Because that target, I believe it was the enemy Ashe, was so isolated, that was still a good play for us to move in there and pressure her. Unfortunately, our timing was just a little off. We could do it again, though, as this objective is way behind us. We can get in there for a little bit of damage and then rejoin our team before they move too far forward. Once they hit middle bridge, I'm going to try for a nuke here. Not yet, not yet. Send it. They won't have very many places to run, and that does connect with 2 kills. Make it 3. Did I crush him? Did I crush him with the call? Did it happen? And Enemy D.Va trying to run away. Very vulnerable. Send in the rockets, hit the melee, and that is yet another kill. 2 minutes left in our defense, and we have retaken this corner. That is excellent. Defensive matrix to try to absorb as much of this incoming fire from Ashe as we can. She way outranges me, so if I went in there, we would lose our mech instantly, so I kind of need to wait for them to push up to be in combat range of me again. Looks like enemy Mercy might be pocketing the enemy Ashe, but good damage might be enough. No, it's not. Her heals are too high. That's okay. We just fall back to our team and try to do the same thing again. I thought my defensive matrix was up there. Oh, it was Bob hitting me from the side. And unfortunately, baby D.Va is so squishy, we do get taken down. All right, the enemy team might be pushing up as we are down, but this corner is still totally playable. We do see a few members of our team falling, only 2 still in front of us, and it's our Sojourn and our Hanzo. There they go. They're securing kills like crazy now. Most of my rockets were absorbed there, but decent damage into Lucio. We're gonna have to fall back. Mercy is behind us, so I'll keep the defensive matrix up a little bit longer. I can try to re-engage here. There is a nuke going off behind us. Where is he? There we go, there we go, there we go. Mercy going for the res, we stopped that too, and I'll just go ahead and send that nuke out rather than losing my mech entirely. Unfortunately, they did line of sight a lot of that on the other side of the payload. But, hey bud, I hope I absorbed those shots with my body. Whew. That was close. We're actually doing a great job of splitting deaths as we travel forward yet again and take down the enemy team's Ashe. That means this is going to be their final push. 30 seconds left to go. And staggered deaths means it's going to be difficult for them to regroup. We could try to play here and see if we can catch anyone on this corner and maybe boop them into the water, but I don't think that's too likely. Great damage onto the enemy Mercy, though. That might buy us a little bit of time. I'm going to plant my butt on the payload. We need to be mindful that they might have another nuke already as well. There's their defensive matrix, and Mercy is too far forward, but I should not show my back to the enemy team like that. So let's hold on for just a second. Soldier 76 taken down. Cassidy, lots of damage, but I did not secure the kill yet. We need to take down these supports if we can. Lucio with the bro shield. I'm charging my ult really rapidly, actually. Our team is falling all around me. Here's the self-destruct as I do lose my mech. We take down Lucio, get back in the mech and continue to fight. Cassidy goes down to my right. Can we? Where is he? Where is this motherfucker? He got me out of mech. I'm so scared. We'll try to get behind him. We just need to get him off. Just need to get him off. There it is. Oh, but the enemy D.Va has respawned. I can call in the mech on her. That's 250 damage if it landed. That gets her out of her mech. Rockets onto the ground. Where'd she go? Okay, now I just push forward and try to get them off. Yes! That's what it's all about, boys. Like the video, subscribe for more Overwatch 2 A through Z. We're trying to get a few episodes of this out every single week. We ended up maxing out on damage and getting play of the game. Very big thank you to everyone on stream who helped me understand this character. I've been playing her all week. I've really been grinding, and I hope you see the growth. Double kill, that's it? I didn't do anything more impressive. That's all right. Thank you guys for being here. We'll see you again very soon.